look, I have a kid. I used to be like that until I had my kid. Now that I have my kid, like, I might be this, oh, I'm a boss bitch, da, da, da. But deep down in my heart, I would do absolutely anything to be at home and be, like, always with my child.
There you go.
But unfortunately,
and have a man protecting you. Stop acting like, stop leaving out the man part. Yeah. Because for you to be home with your child, that means you got a man holding you down, protecting you.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's right. And that shit's hard. Like, but unfortunately, since I'm by myself, I gotta hustle, you know? Yeah. But I would do anything to have a man like that.
That's what we saying. That's exactly.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you for telling the fucking truth. God bless you for telling the truth.
Viral attention for sharing her regrets about ditching the idea of marriage and family. Now, her article in Business Insider reads, quote, "I'm 38 and single, and I recently realized I want a child. I'm terrified that I've missed my opportunity." That woman's name is Melissa Persling, and she's revealing to Fox News Digital what she thinks caused her current situation. Listen.
I feel unbelievably betrayed by feminism. I was constantly fed this idea that women can do everything. We don't really need men. Women can have the great career and have the kids that they like and change the tires and do this. I mean, I grew up thinking, and men are great, but like, I can do all the same things. I do feel in many ways betrayed by that line of thinking. I kind of want to go back to some of those teachers and coaches and say, what the hell did you mean by that? Because women can't do it all. We can't.
Katrina, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, I'm going to go deep here. So I have a lot of opinion on this, and I really think that feminism in some ways has really sabotaged women's happiness. And the reason I believe that is because we are asked to do all these different things, right? But then our nervous system goes whack. Like, I know for myself, I'm in work mode and then mother mode and then family mode, right? And so your system just completely goes out of whack, which is why I truly believe, and I found this quote and I thought it was so telling, is that the divine feminine is the rawest, wildest, and most honest mirror a man will ever encounter. The awakened man opens his heart and goes to battle. He will tame his dragons and face his deepest shadows, since he knows that deep within, her heart will guide him home. And I think that there is a beautiful balance between the feminine and the masculine energy. And I know that as a woman, regardless of what any woman says, I think she wants to feel safe with a man, and she wants to be able to feel her feminine energy, but it's very difficult to go into that space when you're trying to fulfill all these different roles, which is what I think this woman is feeling right now, which is what I think a lot of women, right, in very powerful positions are feeling. And then there's this idea that if you're powerful, you can't be, you know, a beautiful wife or a beautiful mother. And so I think we need to go back to really the way God designed us to be, which is as women, we need men. And it makes for a beautiful balance.
Chris, something that struck me about this is something that Katrina mentioned earlier, which is your influences start in the home. So the moral of this story to me was that she felt betrayed by her influences. But if she had been influenced a certain way in the home, then there wouldn't have been confusion. Does that make sense?
It does, and I really like the points you just made. I think that, you know, this is a little bit of a weird topic for me to talk about, but we grew up with parents. I grew up with parents that had my brother and I when they were in their early 20s, okay? And that was their decision. That was great. My wife, Lily, decided to, she's an entrepreneur. She built her business in her early 20s and early 30s, and we didn't have kids till we were in our mid-30s. And she struggled with this early on a little bit. But this is where I think, as a man and as her husband and her protector, I take my personal responsibility to be her greatest advocate and her greatest cheerleader for everything that she's doing, everything that she's accomplished, everything she has to balance as a woman. And I think more men should take that responsibility. Not that I'm on this high horse or anything. I'm just saying I do think that it's the role of a man to do that.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.
The irony of this century lies in women's struggle for a seat at the corporate executive table. After securing their equality, many women are now seeking comfort in the kitchen and their TV lounges instead of boardrooms. Women thought living in a man's world would be easy until they experienced it. Men make it look easy because we are built for it. Men handle stress differently, able to remove emotions from situations, unlike women whose thoughts and impulses are often driven by emotions, an inherent part of their DNA. Women tend to act based on feelings, leading to stress, anxiety, and often poor decisions. Men, on the other hand, take action first and then consider their feelings afterward, usually seeking relaxation after completing a task. Our wiring is just different. While men also experience stress and burnout, we tolerate it better due to biological and physiological differences. However, in the United States, we are heavily influenced by what we see on television, often spending too much time working to keep up. Many women spend their lives dreaming of excitement only to realize later that their fantasies were misguided. They often hit a wall, realizing the challenges of feminism and the unlikelihood of a better life, especially when chasing after Chad's attention. The burnout experienced by independent women is not from a 9-to-5 job, but from chasing after Chad's constant attention. Eventually, this lifestyle wears out even the most independent women of today. These women expect someone to fix their breakdowns and major repairs, like a mechanic or simp, only to return to Chad's carousel of excitement. Despite attempts to be a savior, all efforts fail. A curious trend is emerging among younger women who seem more appreciative of old-school masculinity. Date a woman in her 30s, and she might not need the car door opened for her. But open the door for a woman in her 20s, and she reacts as if you've rescued her from a burning building. It seems the younger generation will eventually resent the older generation for the path they've paved. To be blunt, many women are experiencing regret over feminism, as it led them away from the natural role of women as defined by universal laws. Women are expected to care for others, nurture and raise families, which is evident in their biological capacity to bear children. Women start to feel uneasy when they go against their nature for an extended period. They begin to realize that they might be wasting their time by avoiding their natural roles and trying to assume male roles. Men, on the other hand, don't try to become feminine to care for children. They are content with their roles as protectors and providers and don't attempt to emulate women. A woman aspiring to be the primary provider is akin to a man lamenting his inability to bear children. While feminism helped women pursue better and more independent lives, it failed to differentiate between independence and personal freedom. Women started to despise men for being too masculine because they aspired to be like men. In essence, feminism breeds contempt for men. If you scroll through social media, you'll see many videos of women reaching their breaking points, realizing how foolish it was to delay starting a family and settling down. They lament that instead of receiving the same attention and validation from men as they once did, men are now pursuing younger women who desire a stable family life. Overall, feminism didn't liberate women as intended, because freedom is more than just financial independence. It's about being comfortable with who you are and expressing your feminine side. Men traditionally thrive as protectors and providers for women, and they excel in these roles. Like men, women's true mission isn't to run major corporations or join corporate boards. It's to be women. As for the definition of a strong, independent woman, she is often someone who has been pampered and cared for from a young age, benefited from female-oriented advantages, and is obsessed with maintaining a certain lifestyle. When faced with financial responsibilities, she may blame men, feeling oppressed by the patriarchy. Many women may divorce their husbands because they believe they know better about raising children than men. Men tend to be stricter in discipline, which many women dislike. Divorces may happen when the woman asks the man to ease up on discipline, and he refuses. So, the woman divorces her husband and raises her child, letting them believe they can do whatever they want without consequences. When the child grows up and realizes that breaking the law has consequences, they end up facing adult time in jail. All of this could have been avoided if the father had been there to teach the child that bad behavior has consequences. Great job, ladies, at destroying families and raising prisoners. It will likely fall on traditional women to hold feminists and modern women accountable for their actions, and this is why they will end up alone. The question is whether this realization will come before or after 2030, when 45% of women will be alone and childless. My guess is no. I'll be raising my daughters to understand that being a wife and mother are the most fulfilling roles a woman can have. Everything else comes second. Feminism encouraged and empowered women to live their lives independently from men, and this is where it made a difference. It showed women that by pursuing education and climbing the corporate ladder, they could achieve financial independence. It demonstrated that even without men in their lives, women could still support their families and earn a living to raise children. It gave them the confidence to believe they could live life on their own terms, be who they wanted to be, and not be limited by their natural desire to have children and care for them. As time passed, more and more women pursued careers in business, believing they could replace men as the dominant members of society. However, they ended up wasting their prime years chasing either traditional bad guys or their corporate goals. Once these women reached their 30s and beyond, they began to realize that getting pregnant was becoming increasingly difficult. Their realization that life wasn't just about accumulating wealth or adhering to extreme forms of feminism, which led them to believe they could live without men or children while still honoring their innate feminine instincts, marked the beginning of their change in perspective. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal, link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.